Hello, good evening. I am Ashley. Welcome to my channel. I am putting out a video this week that is a continuation of last week's video. I made a video about all of my favorite adventures, experiences after going to 70 different countries around the world. And this is part 2. So if you have not seen part 1, definitely check out the link that I'm going to put up above here so that you can watch that one first and then come to this one because this is going to be 12 through 25 in this video. But if you've missed the first 1 through 11, definitely go and watch that first. But I've had amazing experiences and I've loved sharing them with you guys. Now that a lot of us don't know when we'll be able to travel next, it's really fun to reminisce on the amazing experiences that we've had around the world.
Hello, I'm Ash. Welcome to my channel. My life has taken some unexpected turns in 2020, leaving me picking up the pieces and pressing restart. I don't know what every day will hold, but I do know I'm just gonna wing it. Thank you so much to the patrons of my channel. You help make Winging It with Ash possible.
Now, Asia has been a place that I've enjoyed so much visiting. One of the experiences that I really enjoyed was going to Turoko Park in Taiwan on a motorcycle or moped. I'm not quite sure what it was, but going through those mountains, it felt like I was in Jurassic Park. Taiwan was not a country that was on the top of my bucket list, but after going there, I highly recommend going to Taiwan. I think that it is a very underrated country and a country that I truly enjoyed because I was able to be among the locals and experience the actual culture of the country. Japan is now definitely top 5 country for me. I absolutely love Japan, and my experience I feel like is really unique. Getting a local experience, going into a local's home and having that as an experience, I know that that is a hard thing to find or to get, because in Japan, being welcomed into someone's home, it's not super cultural. So having that experience was absolutely amazing. I will always cherish being able to be in a Japanese household, sleeping on the floor in their house, them cooking for us, cooking together with them, learning how to do recipes. That experience I cherish because I know that it's so rare. And I wish that there was a way that I could say, oh, you could all do this and have this experience because it was amazing, but I'm not quite sure. The way that we were able to have the experience was we had an exchange student that came to the US and she invited us to her home after staying here in the US for a while. So that's how that exchange happened. So if you have that opportunity, take it. Okay, now on to number 14. This country stole my heart and I call it my second home, Turkey. Turkey has so many interesting places to visit. I really enjoyed so many of them, but one stands out, Cappadocia. This place is like another planet. It is so cool, and the experience that you have to experience is the hot air balloons. It's something that is super touristic. A lot of people go there for it. You see a ton of Instagram photos, but there are things like that you never have the experience to see anywhere else. Like, you never have the opportunity to see anywhere else. To see so many hot air balloons. Like, I just remember that morning waking up, going out, not knowing what to expect because there were multiple days where they couldn't go off in the hot air balloons because it was snowing. But the day that they all were able to go off, it was hundreds of hot air balloons in the air. Never seen anything like it. I probably never will see anything like it again in my life. And it was such an exciting moment and experience. I'll never lose that excitement. Like, that memory of the excitement I had when watching them all take to the air. It was so cool. And I wasn't even in the hot air balloon. Like, I didn't even take one, and it was that amazing. So definitely go to Cappadocia to experience that. Something that I've done that I didn't film because I had done it many years ago was go to the Canadian Rockies. Canada is absolutely beautiful country. There are so many fun things about it, but going to the Rockies is so cool. The mountains are so massive. If you want to feel small somewhere, if you like want to feel like a reminder of how tiny you actually are, go to the Canadian Rockies. They're absolutely beautiful. It is such a fun experience. I camped there, and it's just the scenes are incredible. Number 16 is Switzerland. Not the cheapest country on my list, but the experience there, I went to Interlaken, which is a small town in between two lakes. So it's Interlaken in between the two lakes. And from there, that's kind of the launching point for a lot of places if you're a skier, snowboarder, or in the summertime if you want to go up to a ton of the small villages in the mountains. You can take gondolas up there and trains up to the top. It is so fun and so beautiful, and like I said in the last one, like feeling small, I think that nature is so exciting and amazing to me, and so having the experience of taking a train up and then taking a gondola and being on top of these mountains where you can look down and see all these villages below you, it is so cool. Number 17 is Mexico. Who doesn't like Mexican food? And my experience there was living there 3 months. I have not lived in another country consecutively that long. 3 months and in another country that doesn't speak English and where I don't speak the language was an experience all in itself. I would highly recommend, if you get the opportunity, to go to a country that you don't speak the language in and try it, like learn the language. That was one of my favorite parts about living in Mexico. It was learning Spanish as I went, trying to like familiarize myself with the language, with Spanish. I absolutely love Spanish, and I would like dream Ashley would want to be completely fluent in Spanish, and going to live in a Spanish speaking country long term would be the way to do that. But man, it was so cool, and I love, there's so many things I love about Mexico. I'm so glad that I had the experience to live there for a short period of time. Number 18 is the country of Georgia. This country felt so untouched by tourists. I remember going to this small town where the lady at our Airbnb said we were the second Americans that had ever stayed there, which is wild to me after going to so many countries that are so well traveled by tourists. But it was an experience that I felt like I was really among the people, among the culture. We rented a car, and it allowed us to go out into these villages that were in the middle of nowhere on the top of mountains. I wish we had so much more time there to explore. The language is extremely difficult. It's not anything we were able to understand, and so many people did not speak English, but that added to the experience in Georgia. Number 19 is Finland. In Finland, we went to the Arctic Circle. The Arctic Circle! I didn't plan on ever going to the Arctic Circle, but my experience there was so fun. We went in the summertime, and in the summer, the sun does not fully go down. It kind of like dips and comes right back up. That is so cool, and something that you just don't realize happens unless you're in a place where it happens. And so my experience there, one of the best things we did was go out on this lake in the middle of nature, put on these dry suits, and just float out on this lake. We didn't even have to do anything to float. We just did, and just listen to the nature around us. The sun it was like golden hour forever. It was such an amazing, calming experience. At that moment, I was thinking, I need one of these wetsuits, and I need to do this literally every night after my day just to calm down and experience it all the time. So much fun, and I highly recommend it. Number Number 20 is the Netherlands, or specifically Amsterdam. There is a lot of amazing things about the Netherlands, but in Amsterdam, I felt at home. This city is full of entrepreneurs, new companies doing new innovative things, and I loved that. It could have been the people that we were hanging out with that shared this with us, that showed us this part of Amsterdam. But because I had that experience, it made me fall even more in love with Amsterdam. I also had the opportunity to puppy sit a puppy, so it felt like I was just living a normal life in Amsterdam, which gave it more the feeling of this could be a home for me. I really liked my experience in Amsterdam. There were so many great friends that we met there as well. So yeah, a little piece of me definitely has been left in Amsterdam, and I would suggest the experience of walking around the canals, being in the city, just exploring that whole city. It is such a cool place. Number 21, another experience that I had before filming my travels was in China. In China, I had the experience of teaching English. I spent time with college, university students doing English corners, English club after their university classes so that they could have the experience of having one-on-one conversations with people. I think in a lot of countries, having conversational English is really hard because the teachers that are teaching the language, English is not their first language. So the experience of being able to make friends and to communicate and also help someone else learn was so fun. Like, I love teaching in general, but to be able to be a part of these college age students' lives and go out to coffee with them or invite them to dinner was such a fun experience. And in China, it just seems like it was so easy to make friends because so many of them wanted to speak English with me. It was yeah, an experience that was really, really cool to just learn. Yeah, I don't know, it was a cultural exchange, right? And when you're traveling, that's what creates incredible experiences with locals, is by having this cultural exchange where they want to speak English, you want to learn about them, and it's just like this cohesion of friendship. You're both getting something from either side. I loved it, and that's the way that I like to travel. My 22nd country and experience is Nepal. Nepal I went to before filming any of my experiences, and in Nepal we lived on the top of this mountain for at least a month, I think. On the top of the mountain, our guide would say, "What village do you want to go to today?" And we would look down into the villages and we would point to one, and then we would hike to that village. There are all these little hiking trails because people would go from village to village to get things that they needed. And so we would do the same. We would do a lot of hitchhiking, a lot of going and asking like trucks to drive us places. But also we did a lot of hiking down into the valleys and up on other mountains to go to different villages around. That experience was an extremely local experience, which I feel like there's a theme going on as I really enjoy local experiences, although the whole river cruising is a little different. But yeah, I really liked having that opportunity to be out, like do what the locals do. They all travel from one village to another, and that's what I was doing. It was so much fun. A lot of work and very physically demanding, but now looking back on it, it was a very fun experience. The 23rd country is Israel. Israel did not meet my expectations. I was really excited about visiting the country, but I had very high expectations growing up as a Christian, hearing all the stories about Jesus Christ, and looking forward to seeing the places that he had been. But what I found was that it was extremely touristic and very, it was not what I expected. And so I am happy that I had the experience and the opportunity to go to Israel. Absolutely. If I hadn't, I would suggest people who haven't been, go. Would I choose to go again over so many of the other countries? No, not really. I feel like my experience in Israel was a very controlled experience, and so yeah, it led to me not being as excited about it or like suggesting it as much as other countries, if that makes any sense. I hope it makes sense. It was a good experience, but it was a controlled experience. Number 24 is an experience I will never forget. It's not necessarily a great experience, but I was in the Philippines during monsoon season, and this was my bad. It was so rainy, so wet. We ended up getting stranded on an island because all the boats were canceled, flights were canceled. It was an experience. The Philippines is beautiful. It's not a terrible place to get stuck, especially on an island with incredible beaches. But it did rain a ton. Our plans were completely screwed up, but an experience nonetheless, and something now that I can look back on and think, wow, like that was definitely an experience. And number 25, my last one, Australia. Australia is such a fun country. I love the humor of Australians. They get me. My favorite thing was going out in nature, going to the eucalyptus trees and looking for koala bears up in them, just eating away, or going into the outback to see kangaroos just jumping around in large groups. It was like dinosaurs were out in the middle of this field. I like seeing kangaroos in person. These animals are only in Australia. You can only find them there. That for me was worth the experience. So that's it, 25 of my best experiences in 25 different countries. I hope that some of these experiences will be added to your bucket list once you are ready to travel. There are so many amazing places in the world to see, and I truly hope that there will be a time where we can all experience them again. I hope you all have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching my video. Be sure to subscribe, give it some likes, and I'd love to hear what your top bucket list countries are when you start traveling again down in the comments below. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you or see you. Okay, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.